Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Alex King and Daniel Mangina. It is Tuesday, November the 12th, 2019. And guys, I've decided to switch things around a bit. I'm giving up on doing times because I keep getting them wrong. So just put it this way. We do this at 4 p.m. New York time. So wherever you are in the world, just do a Google search for what's my local time at when New York is 4 p.m. and it'll just tell you what the time is. And that way I don't have to do it anymore. So,
there you go.
Timebuddy.com. Great hack. Timebuddy.com.
Timebuddy.com.
One time, and it gives you every other time zone.
Sounds very cool. I like that.
All right.
I might even get that for myself, except that I realize that there are 24 time zones. And I thought about it. I said, do I really want to read off 24 time zones? And that was actually a pretty easy no.
Yeah.
So we'll just go with 4 p.m. New York time, and we'll let our audience, who are very, very intelligent people, figure it out for themselves. Not that we're not dismissing any of the rest of you. We love all of you. It's just that, it gets to the point where it's just crazy. So
Right. Exactly.
And people will notice that not only am I missing about 3/4 of my hair, but I'm headphoneless. That's because my headphones broke. So I'm hoping that there's not going to be any echo feedback today. And if there is, then you guys will flag me, right? Let me know, and I've got some backups I can use that are really terrible, but I can use them in a pinch. So
you need me to send you some unicorn headphones?
I wouldn't want to take your logo away from you.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, we could be twinning.
I love the way that you just twinned up.
Yeah.
You left me out. Triplets.
Sorry, we could triple it out. Okay, how about that?
We could triple it. Trip it out. Anyway, I'm serious again now. Very serious guy doing very serious things.
See, Dan is fitting in really, really well because he understands this is a silly show. It's a lot of fun. It's serious at times, but it's a very silly show.
But do silly in a very serious way.
Absolutely, yes. So congratulations for being on board, like, right from the get-go. You're up and running. It's really great. I love to see that.
Yes.
So I can usually go to Alex and say what the topic is for the day. I don't know if she has one in mind today, but I actually do have a topic in mind. What do you have in mind, Alex?
We actually have one left over from last week.
Oh, that's
right. I think Jeffrey brought it up. It was Jerry Springer or something. Hold on.
I remember Jerry Springer was involved, but I don't remember exactly what the details were.
Yeah, hold on.
And actually,
go back to the hashtags.
Jerry Springer has trouble remembering what the details are sometimes, which is understandable.
Wow. Oh, why does my thingy keep tipping over?
That's all right. So while you're looking for that, I'll also tell you what I had in mind for a topic. And Daniel, this may actually tie in a little bit with what you've been doing lately with some of your quickie podcasts that you've been doing. But every once in a while, I get into the mood of wanting to just focus on positives for a bit. Just focus on what we like, rampages of appreciation. And
it just says Jerry Springer, LOA Tuesday.
Okay. All right. So we have two opposite extremes here. We have feeling really good, and we have feeling really rotten.
Feeling really Jerry.
I mean, it's about as extreme as it can get. So, I don't know, maybe we can kind of bounce back and forth between those two. Hopefully we won't give everybody whiplash in the process. But I'm going to start on the positive side. And, Daniel, I'm going to go to you about, first of all, anything you want to contribute on it. But secondly, talk about your Beyond Intentions and what role does that play in staying positive and feeling in that good place all the time?
There's a couple of things I would say on that. First and foremost, it's honoring that contrast is real and that staying in one place all the time is possible but highly unlikely for many people unless they do the work of stepping into being positive all the time. I'm more inclined to go with the Eckhart Tolle stroke Michael Singer-esque of staying neutral. Staying neutral and enjoying all the aspects of it and actually finding joy and pleasure in every part of the experience. So rather than necessarily needing to be positive or negative about anything, it's understanding that the law of relativity, which is that everything's neutral until we give it a story, can mean that we can look at all experiences and find positivity in all of them. and actually just stay feeling really elevated and groovy all the time, regardless of what's happening. So beyond intention, really, and that would come to choosing where our energy and focus is, and choosing how our internal environment is responding to what's happening around us. And then, of course, choosing what experiences we're actually having feelings about in the first place. But certainly understanding that the beauty is in experiencing all different aspects of life, including the contrast, and choosing how we respond to the experiences that show up. And beyond intention will be powerful in terms of doing that.
And I realized as I was introducing it that I kind of messed up my own topic, because I actually don't usually think in terms of positive and negative anymore. Mm-hmm. I've been retraining myself to think in terms of like and don't like, prefer and don't prefer. Yeah,
agreeable and disagreeable is another good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
I do like that too.
Basically to stay away from all the moralistic stuff, because boy, does that really put a monkey wrench into the whole thing, trying to make sense out of it all. That moralism is just, oh boy, it'll bite you at the least opportune time.
Bite you in the unicorn tail.
Yes, exactly. That's what happens. That's precisely what happens. So, yeah. So that's why I like preferring and not preferring, or liking and disliking. Choosing, being selective about what it is that we want to focus our attention on. Because that's really, in my view, that's really what it's all about. From one moment to the next, it's what are we going to spend our time thinking about and feeling about and talking about and expressing about and writing about and all the stuff that we do about. Because the more that we spend on what we like, the better our life is going to be. That's the thing I really like about Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks, I thought, really nailed it. They just said, stay focused on what you like. Stay focused on what you prefer. The more you do that, the better your life is going to get. You're going to manifest everything that you're wanting. You're going to have the life of your dreams. It's all going to work out. And they're right. That's exactly it.
I think it's about just looking at how the quality of our thoughts affects. The quality of our thoughts is indicative of the environment that we're in mentally. You can get a really clear idea of what our internal environment is just based by the quality of our thoughts, which is obviously informed by our feelings. So if we're feeling good, the quality of our thoughts is going to be reflected in that.
Yeah.
And then the quality of our environment is going to follow on through. That's the whole flow funnel thing that I talk about in my book, and everywhere at the moment, everywhere's flow funnel. So that everything stacks, and is informed by the thing before it, the high level of density before it. So our feelings inform what our thoughts are, and our thoughts inform what our physical world is. And so like you said, when we're being encouraged to stay populating our emotional and feeling scape, our emotional environment with feeling good, that informs our thoughts, and our thoughts are going to be aligned with that. I can't feel good and have disempowering thoughts. I can, but it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be factually, it'll be very difficult. And if I'm feeling good and having positive thoughts, then even if my environment throws up things that are seemingly not so bueno, I can start to find the beauty in that and actually start to transmute that as it plays out. Instead of it becoming a mess, it becomes the disruption that happens before reforming. Is it syntropy? Is that the word? On everything, the chaos that happens before something forms again. Big Bang, the chaos happens so that something beautiful. Oh. The pain of childbirth that happens before something new is born. And once I can, through feeling good and allowing that to inform my thoughts to be thoughts that follow on from feeling good, then no matter what shows up in my physical environment, I can start to reframe that and re-know it as what I choose and intend to experience.
Yep. That's a very well-organized way of expressing it. I mean, you just kind of covered the whole panoply of possibilities there. Very nice.
Panoply.
Now, Alex, I know you take a much more simplified approach because, first of all, you start off with unicorn headphones, and that's just starting from a place of feeling good and demonstrating that you're feeling good.
Facts.
So you keep it really, really simple.
Yep. I work smart, not hard.
Simple always wins.
Exactly. I like the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. That's me.
It also makes a very short presentation.
Yes, it does. It does.
So, okay, well, let's spend a couple minutes over on the dark side then, because we did promise we were going to talk about the Jerry Springer thing a little bit. And but
I don't remember what context Jeffrey meant it in, though.
Yeah, I don't really remember either. I mean, Jeffrey, I see that you're tuned in, so give us a little idea of what you had in mind. From what from what little I remember, I think we were talking about how in a typical Jerry Springer show, because Jerry's basically associated with his television show, where he brings all these dysfunctional people up on stage, and then they fight things out, and then they drag in the mother-in-law, and then the audience basically decides who they want to support and who they want to oppose, and it's kind of like a 10-round match, really. So, I mean, that's his formula. Interesting thing about Jerry, just as a side note, Jerry is actually a very fun-loving person, as it turns out. He's he has a very quiet life in his private life. He has his family. If you just saw him on the street and didn't know who he was, you'd think, oh, he's just your average person who just is enjoying life. So it kind of always gave me a little bit of a head twist. Kind of analogous to what you just talked about, Daniel, how it's really hard to hold a happy thought and an unpleasant feeling at the same time. Well, he lives a happy life, and he deals with all these really unhappy people all the time and eggs them on.
I've got something for you. What if that's what makes him happy?
Well, that's what I tried to come to terms with. I didn't successfully get there.
I mean, I figured he might not be happy with the situation, but he's definitely happy with the money that it gives him.
I suspect on some level he really believes that show was helping people.
I think that's where it's calling you out.
No. I was just keeping it simple. I think sometimes we come up with these really complicated ways to validate people's behavior, but some people are just butt munchers and are happy in unhappiness. It's that some people are happy in their misery, and when you try and support bringing them out of their misery, they're unhappy with it because, the law of relativity, what we from the outside may perceive as being unhappy or miserable, is where someone's in their happy place.
Yep, exactly.
And maybe he enjoys and feels good on the back of bringing entertainment to the masses in a way that perhaps some of us might view as being a little bit,
I think that's probably what it is, that some of us feel a little bit, because the people who
and some of us are here for the tea, so it doesn't matter.
Well, true, yeah. And the people who appear on the show, it doesn't seem to matter to them that they're basically applying their business to the entire national population. They don't really, it doesn't seem to bother them.
Maybe
that's what they wanted.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's what they wanted, otherwise they wouldn't be on the show.
Everyone's running on their stories, and for some people, I mean, I had this thought. I was thinking about someone that I no longer associate with, but I was just thinking about the fact that they really did derive their sense of self-worth from sharing stories that weren't so empowering, and that's where their identity was built around that. And actually, one of the reasons why we no longer associate is because I went too far in supporting them in breaking free from those stories, and actually their sense of self was being threatened, and it cost the relationship. Some people are validated in those disempowering ways, and the disempowerment is from our viewpoint, but for them it's something that they find, they glean some satisfaction from. And so at the end of the day, again, the neutral thing, the facts of the matter are, this is what happened. Now we look at that and say, oh, this person's on a stage doing this and that. For them, it's, I'm on stage doing this and this. The story associated with it, the beliefs that support that course of action, I actually am feeling validated and seen to some extent because of this show that I'm on and this experience that I'm having. We look on and be like, yeah, you need love, or, get off the pole, Susie, and he's not your daddy.
Get off the pole, Susie.
It's all relative. And I think the more time that I've spent understanding that everything's all relative and everybody's stories are informing what their decision is about life are going to be, the less judgmental I was, and the less judgmental I was, the less I gave it energy and focused more on myself and what my stories were and how I want to show up, what I want to experience. And when that frequency matches people who want to share common experiences, or they can inform me into expansion, or I can inform them into expansion, they're the people I want to be around. And if there's a story that doesn't match what I want in my experience, I send them off with love. But I do that from a place of non-judgment, just accepting that, hey, if that's how you feel, Susie,
Stay on the pole.
But carry on.
Well, I do know that the track we're on is the track that Jeffrey had in mind, because he says, I think I was pondering what you were pondering. So we're there. We're in the same place he was at when he raised the question. And I think you're right. It really comes down to, what are they feeling? How are they feeling when they're getting on stage? I mean, I think part of it, too, depends on which side of the fence for any particular issue, because it's always about issues with Jerry, right? Usually pretty extreme issues. Whichever side of the issue you're on. Are you on the side that the audience is going to applaud, or are you on the side that the audience is going to boo? The people who are on the side that the audience is going to applaud, they're clearly lapping it up. I mean, you don't see anybody who's a wallflower going on doing that. They're just there to live for it. Now, the guys it's usually guys, too, who are on the other side, who are on the side that the audience is booing and disapproving of. Some of them seem to eat it up. Some of them sit there with the coldest stone faces you've ever seen in your life. So I'm not really sure what's going on in their head. But I think one thing we can say for sure is they all attracted it, which it can sound harsh, but we attract everything into our lives, and so therefore they attracted it.
But I don't feel like it's harsh, though, because this is their 15 minutes of fame. This is what they attracted because they wanted it. So I don't feel like it's in a harsh way.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. So, all right, well, before we bounce back to the positive side, anything more? Daniel, it looks like you did. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but...
Yeah, he just said they're hammering next door. So.
They're hammering! Oh, well, I can totally appreciate that one. They were hammering here most of the day. I was wondering if I was going to be able to do a podcast, so...
I was thinking the same thing, and then they stopped an hour ago, and it looks like they've just started again. They've been doing it since yesterday. I actually had to cancel something yesterday. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you may have the same maintenance guys that we have.
Okay.
I mean,
they're part of a union across the country, you know.
That's a serious.
I'm going to time it. I don't know what they're doing because I didn't think anyone actually was next door. But since I think they're on the roof, I'm not really sure. But I'll just keep myself muted when I'm not talking and smiling.
That's fair. Okay, yeah. Well, actually, yours actually sounds rather calm by comparison with what was going on here. Here, it sounded like we had elephants running through the upstairs apartment. I mean,
I have elephants making baby elephants upstairs. You have the separation of time and space.
Oh my God!
You have the separation of time and space. If only they were making unicorns, everything would be lovely.
It would be whisper quiet.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of mystical animal baby making. What were you saying? Sorry, I was thrown off. I was thrown off. Were you saying going back to the light side?
Actually, I lost where I was going with it because
we can't take Dan anywhere.
Especially not when there's going to be unicorns.
Facts. If I'm going, there's always going to be a unicorn. Just
I just like how you managed to turn unicorn reproduction into something light and magical. I thought that was really great.
Because it is. Anything unicorn-esque is light and magical.
Exactly.
There you go.
There's a part of me that says, "Oh, and when was the last time you?" No, I'm not going to say that.
By the way, Grass is Greener, episode 1.
You like the first episode?
Yeah. Thank you.
I was thrown off by the scandal at the beginning, and then the way her friend was talking about her later. I was like, "Girl, you really getting it, right? You really getting it anyway. You gonna be getting it. You gonna be getting it." And she was like, "No." Anyway, I'm not going to spoil it, but everybody who's watching this that hasn't seen what's on the other side, go and do it. I'm looking forward to catching the next episode.
And the next episode is up there. It's already up there. So log into your podcaster and play it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll jump on.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who have not yet discovered where to find it to subscribe to it, go to thegrassisgreener.loatoday.net and you'll be able to subscribe at the top of the page, which Daniel assures me is really, really easy because he just tried it last week.
Yeah, I did. I just went. Whoop.
It was that easy.
That easy.
That's cool. I like that. That means I got it right.
Yep.
Flow.
Flow. The flow is there. Yes. No doubt about it. So on the bright side, or on the light side, what's going on in your lives right now that, besides, carpenters working upstairs, but what else is going on in your lives that you focus on, that you spend your attention on, that is actually going well? Because it's good to remind ourselves of that, and it's good to remind our audience good things are going on all the time. We get so caught up in all the negatives,
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's talking to me because they're hammering. Okay, so they're making the baby elephants over there. Got it. Okay, so repeat the question because my phone was acting all wonky and I'm getting like bits and pieces.
Oh, okay, very simple. What's going well in your life, or that you're aware of in life? What's going well that you're focusing your attention on, that you're feeling good about, just so we can share with people that there are good things going on.
What am I feeling good about?
Well, tell you what, I'll kick it off. I'll talk about.
I was going to say pretty much everything at this point.
Oh, okay. I mean, that covers a lot.
It does. But a lot of things are going well. So we're gonna keep with that mode, and we're gonna continue to do that every day. And I've been manifesting a lot more lately. So yeah, lots of good things.
I would have to say probably the best thing going on right now is that there's no hammering going on upstairs. I mean, it's just quiet. I like that. But that's just
I think
the
you
current
bounced
moment.
them to me. You energetically just teleported them to my building. And
Well,
they're here now.
that depends on whether or not you decide to receive it that way, I guess. But
I mean, it is quite a time zone jump. Just saying.
think of it this way: what we're really doing is we're helping to transmit to you what it feels like to have quiet, so that you can bring that over to where you're.
I was in New York all summer. I know what quiet is because I was longing for it and going back to it here. But seriously, I think what's been great for me is having my sister. My sister's been here at my place for the last
nice
week and a half, which has been amazing because being the happy hobo that I have been for as long as I have, I don't get to see my family with that much ease. I've been in Europe over the summer a couple of times, so I got to see my sister, and she lives in Amsterdam with my brother-in-law. My oldest sister had her kids in the States earlier in the year, in the spring, so I flew to where they were and went to go and see them. But my big brother's having a baby next month. I'm not going to see that baby probably till we have a family holiday in May. So having my sister here.
I'm going to pause you and interrupt. I'm going to sign out and turn my phone off and turn it back on and see if it's going to fix the problem because I don't know what's happening.
Okay, yeah. If you can't follow the conversation, then that's a drag. So we'll see you in a few minutes.
We'll see you presently.
Okay. I'll be right back.
That's great, though.
I'll be right back.
I love family stories because family stories are where we get a lot of our, well, depending on what we're focusing on, but where we have the opportunity to get a lot of good feeling stuff. In fact, you cued in my mind, Louise and I just booked a trip to Florida to visit my brother and sister-in-law in January, and so we're going to be looking forward to doing that. It's going to be great. It's going to be the first time, actually, that I've ever visited my brother in Florida. So, yeah, it could be really, really good. Plus,
well, the weather's going to be good for January, too. You're going to have some nice January weather.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, big change from Connecticut. Huge change from Connecticut. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice,
that was an easy sale, I have to say. It didn't take a whole lot for me to say, okay, let's go.
Florida. Okay. I think I can make that work. I think I could agree with this. This is acceptable.
Very acceptable. Yeah, and we're hoping that it's part of like a series of trips because, frankly, Louise and I have not been able to take a trip in like 3 or 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Wow.
Financial reasons. And our finances have been turning around, so we're saying, okay, time to get out there.
Let's do it.
We have a lot of places we want to go to. We want to get to Hawaii. We want to get to England. We want to get to France. We want to go to Machu Picchu. And we have a number of different places in mind. Yeah. Yeah. So this
MPs is on my list too.
Say what?
MPs is on my list too. Machu Picchu.
Oh, yeah. 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 Well, just because I've heard so much about it, I don't even know what the fact is anymore. There is so much fantasy that has come out of what's in Machu Picchu. I don't even know what's actually there.
There is an adventure. There is an adventure. We know that much.
That much we do know, yeah. And the adventure varies from person to person. Everybody seems to experience it differently.
But you're going to experience it your way. Actually, factually.
That's the best way. I think Daniel's just
I've been using that
confuse me
everywhere.
about whether I'm talking to Alex or Daniel. I think that's what it is.
Didn't I tag you? I put it on my friend's post, actually, hashtag actually factually.
No, you didn't tag me. Oh my god.
Did I not tag you? I'm putting it everywhere.
Spread it around, make it a movement.
Everywhere.
I'm trying to make Alex is always right a thing.
That one I'm going to have to take a pass. But
no one's ever passed before.
but I will actually, factually, I will share that, and anything to do with unicorns that doesn't include you always being right, I will most certainly be great.
Okay, but I am always right. You'll learn. It's your second day. It's fine.
Okay. Well, the law of relativity and whatnot.
Well, I mean, ultimately, we are always right.
Exactly.
At all times.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can't get it wrong. That's
Exactly.
That's an Abraham thing, right? You can't get it wrong, you'll never
Are you
get it
sure?
wrong.
Because I know a lot of people getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, they get it wrong from your perspective, but that's what you guys were just pointing out to me a few minutes ago. From their perspective, are they getting it wrong?
What's it?
If
Did
it
I
was
ever tell you
wrong-
that story?
What?
Did I ever tell you that story, Walt, when I've been on before, about when I did a workshop in Florida, actually,
Okay.
and someone was really trying to argue with me and say that their point was right. But I think they kept for a couple of minutes, they were sort of stopping my flow to say about how their point was right. And I was like, no, you're right. And then he didn't agree. I think he thought I was being facetious. And so I clarified and said, and I said to him, I said, look, at the end of the day, your reality is informed by your beliefs. So if that's what you believe, it informs what your reality is, and therefore your experience is going to match.
Right.
And so if that's your belief system, then that is how it's going to work. Me telling you different isn't going to make it true for you. If that's your belief, then it's true. Therefore, you're right. And then he realized I wasn't being facetious.
That's all I've been saying.
Interesting, too, because I think that's a very common reaction from somebody who is not, immersed in the kind of stuff that we've studied. That, well, if you're telling me what I want to hear, you must be trying to pull the wool over my eyes. That's a very common reaction, So, I think part of it is, if you're trying to be right, then you can't be proven right because then that stops. You have to be able to continue to be right. It has to be ongoing rightness.
Exactly. That's why I said he'll learn, because I'm continuously right.
Okay. I believe in you and all your rightness.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, I've tried bouncing back and forth, and I have to admit it's a little bit disconcerting going from the really unhappy to the really happy, and then when we're in the unhappy, flipping over to the happy, and then going to the happy. That part is easy. But then when I'm doing the unhappy part, it's getting a little bit, I don't know, disconcerting. Let's leave it at that. So I'm going to kind of do something I don't normally do. I'm going to kind of turn the whole direction over to you, Alex. Where do you want to go with this conversation? Da, 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 da.
No pressure.
But there is some pressure.
Wow. So Dan's about to get canceled.
Oh, okay.
I mean, have we talked about what? I mean, we kind of basically talked about how things are going right now, but have we discussed what we've manifested this week?
Oh, well, I've manifested my entire week.
Abby, what are you excited about? What manifestation came true that you really took notice? Oh
man, a bunch of them. It's been an ongoing thing. I've told the story before about the money that I've been manifesting lately. And it's been a case of there was the first round, so to speak, and then that led to the second round, which led to the third round. So we're at 3 rounds right now, and I'm just kind of sitting back each day and saying, "Wow, this is so cool the way this is." So there's that. Like I said, there's the trip upcoming. That money is interesting thing. Okay, here's a little sidetrack we can go on to for a moment. I've often wondered, because Louise and I went through a really difficult time starting about the time that I started this podcast, actually, a little bit before, and it ran for a number of years where financially we were just in the gutter. It was just horrible how bad the whole thing went. And it took me a long time to, first of all, learn how to kind of turn the thing around in my mind and turn my vibration around, to use Abraham's term. But also, it's just, you have to live with it every single day. And now that things are turning around, I'm finally able to answer a question that I've wondered all along. I mean, we'd built up a lot of debt. And this money that's been coming in, I've been paying off debt like crazy to the point where most of it's gone. There's still a little bit left, but it's almost all gone. And I wondered, how will it feel to pay off the debt? And the interesting result is, so far, there's no feeling with it at all. I have no visceral reactions. Like, okay, I just pay the debt. Okay, what happens next?
Right.
That was it.
That's very interesting.
And Louise pointed out something to me. She says, we probably are going to get a different reaction when we get the next bank statement that shows that the debt's paid off.
Yeah.
We got something to look at and something to interact with. But right now, it's so vague that there's nothing to kind of hang your hat on other than to say, woohoo!
Right.
So I don't know what that's about. I've heard that, we've all heard that you don't want to be focusing on getting out of debt because you just get more debt. So I can kind of see where that would go. But I would have thought that paying it off would have felt really, really good, and it didn't. So I don't know.
I think you need to see the zeroed out balance.
Yeah, I think that'll help a lot.
Yeah.
But it's a strange thing. Have you ever encountered anything like that, Daniel?
I'm just really finding it interesting because, generally speaking, I would have said that getting to the finish line would have required you being able to experience it in your mind's eye as finished. But as you're very neutral on it, that blank slate is just very, very interesting for me to hear about.
Yeah. And
being neutral could be a positive because it means that you're not necessarily flipping the other way. Or maybe that the neutral space is your journey away from It's been quiet this entire time. Literally quiet this entire time. Your journey away from the disempowering state into the empowering state is going through this space of neutrality. Maybe this is your blank slate on which to choose how you want to feel. Maybe you have the opportunity to say, what would I like it to feel? When people get really stuck, when people get really stuck, I normally invite them to say, well, step into visualization and see yourself in that space and actually interact with them and ask them, how do you feel? And you can use that as a basis to come back to and ask yourself, how does that feel? Try it on like a coat and see how it goes. We did this, I did in my Dream with Dan group last night. I think both of you in the group. I did what I've never done on there before, which is live coaching. So I had people come on and I basically coached them one at a time on a specific challenge. We were dealing with unworthiness. But a couple of the times we got them to create an avatar, an astral avatar effectively of themselves in another framework. One, I got her to use a magical mirror and just allow the scenery to come up so the subconscious mind can just show and then engage with it and use that for a space of healing. Maybe future pace yourself. You, in 6 months' time, when not only has it happened, but you've had the time to sit in it for a little while, just ask, hey, bro, how you doing? How do you feel right now? And then journal on what comes up.
Well, I should qualify what I said because from the moment that I knew this monetary thing was happening, that felt good. So it's not like there's been no feeling at all. There has been feeling in the sense that it's been an ongoing feeling like, we're moving, things are happening, moving and shaking. The financial situation's improving. It's just that I also thought I'd have a visual experience with just, okay, here's the day when I actually pay that debt off, and that's what was missing. That's what surprised me. But fortunately, you're right. I do have this other ongoing experience of feeling really good, and that has been great.
I would future pace yourself. Future pace yourself. Have a conversation with you as you 6 months in the future after it's done, and invite that person to look back on how they felt at the time, and then you no longer need the physical evidence, and then actually you've got an anchor to step into about freedom. So there's a couple of ways you can flip.
Well, as you say that, I think I've actually been doing that now that I think about it, without planning to. It's not like I did it with any great intention, but I was just kind of playing out. Okay, well, I know when all of it's going to be paid off, and I know at that point that we're actually going to have a positive cash flow going on, and we're going to be in the black. So I can see when it's going to happen, like almost to the month, and that's cool. That's kind of fun,
Yeah.
That, for the first time, I'm actually looking at a financial situation and feeling good about it because, oh wow, it's finally working out in my favor. How cool is that?
It's working out in all our favors because that means more trips to the Cape.
Well, that's true. Yes.
And I know it was another twinsy situation. Are you going to be wearing your matching unicorn headsets?
If I can find one in wall size, yes.
Which is hard because my head keeps swelling, so good luck finding it.
Actually, factually.
Oh, goodness.
But no, it's a good point that you're making, and I think that is where the feeling is. That's where the feeling / experience is. When we're focused on, what is it going to feel like in the future, and not just seeing myself in it, but actually immersing myself in it. The Neville Goddard concept, right? You climb the ladder rather than watching yourself climb the ladder.
Right.
So imagining myself in that future space, living in this newfound financial abundance. My brain almost goes into overload, like, whoa, what can I do next?
Exactly.
And there's a feeling good that Abraham talks about.
Absolutely, yeah.
The unicorn wave.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There's a hashtag for you, unicorn wave.
All right, thank you.
Daniel is falling right into place here, and he's fitting in perfectly. This is good. So where do we go next, Alex? I'm putting you in charge of being today's moderator of the debate. So
I feel like you're trying to get me into practice to take over for you, but I'm not pressing the buttons.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm not trying to make you take over for me in general, just for today.
Okay.
I mean, I intend to be doing podcasts until, basically my teeth fall out. I mean,
and even then, we're going to get you some dentures and pop them right back in and keep it moving.
And actually, my teeth are never going to fall out, so I'll be doing it forever.
Yeah, all right. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm just asking you to do it today. So today, where do we go next?
Today, where do we go next? Let's see. Well, let's have Daniel school us on what his live stream was about unworthiness.
Okay.
Oh, well, I basically went down the line of something that came up in my retreat in Tuscany over the fall, September. And that's the idea that everything's a story. Absolutely everything.
Very true.
And so because everything is a story, nothing really is real in and of itself or itself in and of itself. It's just the stories around it that give us the qualities that create the framework that we have for it. So unworthiness really is just a top layer, and it's the result of stories that we built up to create the feeling scape that we relate to as being unworthiness.
Right.
And so everybody that we dug into, actually it wasn't unworthiness, it was always something else. It was feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling appreciated, feeling respected. And we had a couple of people who were running on programs that were imprinted in them from religious perspective, that they had to do things a certain way. One of the people that were on the call, she was a Protestant at a Catholic school. And so from the age of 5 was being told, well, she's going to hell because she's not Catholic.
Oh, my.
Wow.
So, spent 8 years up to the age of 13 being impressed upon them that you're not worthy of heaven because you're not of a certain religion. That then's going to inform choices being made later on and so on. And so, we did some initial exercise. That's probably going to take some work, but we did an initial exercise with her. We created a mental construct and invited one of the nuns who used to persecute a little more into the space and basically started the process of healing and forgiveness and separating that person's words and beliefs from her story so that then she could start to build her own narrative. So stuff like that. But yeah, generally speaking, I mean, just this weekend we did, was it last weekend? We did for Micro to Millions, we did a 7 levels exercise live where we looked at the reason why people want to succeed in the program. And we asked, I led it so that I can give them an example of how it's going to be, and then they'll pair off. But it's really peeling away the onion to understand at a deeper level what's the real thing underneath it. And it's the same with the unworthiness piece. The unworthiness was the story that we have on the top. But when we peel it away and peel it away and peel it away, peel it away, there's normally something underneath. So when I was, for example, exploring financial abundance for myself, what I got 7 levels deep, that it was about having authentic connections with other humans, which sounds really random, but when you peel it away and ask, but why, but why, but what, but why, underneath, that's what I found. And is there more? Maybe, but that was enough for me to get closer to the crux of it. And so now I have a new lens through which to inform my engagement with my connection to intentioning and manifesting financial abundance, not running after it for status, for example, or running after it for comfort and safety, because that's not what it really is. It's about having a genuine connection with other humans. But the really cool thing, hacking-wise, in terms of an alchemic life creation perspective, is if I understand truly what my deep cognitive connection is between feeling and experience, if I spend more time in that feeling, the law of vibration is I should have more of the corresponding experience. Mm-hmm. So some people are going off and setting intentions and looking to create on a false premise of what the actual cognitive connection is. Oh, I want to be, I want freedom, argument's sake. I want freedom. And so they keep connecting to freedom. They keep going and connecting to freedom and feeling good about freedom. But freedom isn't actually the frequency that's connected to the experience that they want. And so they're getting something, but it feels like they hit them in the mark. The second that we understand what's underneath, we can get closer to the experience, have more evidence of it, have more belief in it, and therefore create it more deliberately, and maybe peel away again and then get closer to it. Because universal laws are universal laws because they're very Alex-esque. They're infallible. They're never wrong. But it's our engagement of it and our connection to it in terms of the cognitive connection we place between the pieces that creates them, not working. It's not that they're not working. It's that 1 and 1 is going to equal 2. But if we're making 1 and 1.5 because we've got it wrong, we can't complain that we've got 2.5. It's got to be 1 and 1 if you want to.
Right.
What you're talking about there reminds me of a very famous saying by Carl Jung, the psychologist. He said this many years ago, and it's usually shortened down to the phrase, what we resist persists. But there's a second part that goes along with it. And the part that goes along with it is what we embrace goes away. I mean, it's not the exact wording, but that's the gist of it. So what we resist persists. What we embrace and take into ourselves, it just dissipates. It disappears. And that's really what Daniel was talking about there. How if you can embrace that part of you that is associated with and tied with what it is that you're really trying to get to. Any of the issues associated with it are going to go away, and the beautiful part of it is going to be the part that's going to stay.
And the other cool thing as well is even if there's a piece of that puzzle that you don't necessarily want, consciously choose, now that you see it in the light of truth, you can actually then take the steps to shift and transmute that part of your experience. So, for example, if it is that you want to be rich because you want to show off to people and that's what makes you feel good at a deep level, and that doesn't resonate with you consciously, you don't have to be a slave to that program. Now that you see it, you can start to change that. You can actually dig in and say, okay, well, is this how I choose to feel? No. That doesn't really feel good for me as I bring it up consciously. Now I can take steps to shift that and break the ties to the stories that actually are creating at a subconscious level. But I have to see it to change it. It's like the analogy I always use about making a statue. I can't close my eyes to where the rock is now and make the vision. I need to see what rock is still remaining and also hold the vision of the statue in its finished form in order to properly create the masterpiece. I have to see both at the same time. But I see what it is now through the lens of what it will be as I do the work to chip things away and polish it off.
I like that.
Wow, that's very complete.
Yeah.
You don't do things halfway, do you, Daniel? I mean, you have to cover the entire thing before you feel like, okay, I got it now.
It's the Asperger's.
It's the Asperger's, okay. Hey, whatever it takes, that's good.
whatever it takes.
Now here I am. I'm automatically trying to take back the role from Alex. So I'm going to give it back to Alex and not allow myself to go there. Alex, what's the next step? Where are we going with this?
Let me see. Has Jeffrey or anyone online said anything?
Well, Jeffrey had a comment actually about what I was talking about earlier. He says, how do you feel about the fact that you created? How does it feel to have that kind of power? And what do you want to do with that power right now? And then Jenny ducked in and said, hello, everybody. And hello, Jenny. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jenny.
But yeah, that's the ultimate question to life, the universe, and everything. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do next? That's it. I mean, and I've been waking up lately pursuing something that I thought I would never want to pursue again. I have a background doing programming, building websites and building front ends and back ends and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I thought I'd left that behind, but I am now in the process of learning a new framework that I'm going to use to build some software for my wife's gardening services business. And I'm a little surprised. That's not where I thought I was going to go next.
I'm actually going through the same thing this week.
How so?
Well, you know how I used to be a hairstylist?
That's right.
And I had gotten away from it, but now lately with my boyfriend's family, they're all like, well, how much would it cost to do this and do that? And so they've all been over my house this week getting their hair done. And I was like, all right, yeah. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Just when I thought I was out, I ran right back in.
Exactly.
Let it all out.
I thought I put my flat iron down, but nope.
I love that. I love how when we're on the adventure of life, it just twiddles and flips, and what we don't expect. But does it feel good? This is the question I asked both of you.
That's the question I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yes, it does feel good. Yeah, it never fails. It's, when you're doing something you love, it's never a bad thing to go back to it.
And for me, the only bad thing that I've experienced so far is that when I was trying to learn this new platform, this new framework today, I got interrupted by the guys doing the maintenance work upstairs. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was really hard to concentrate. But other than that, it was great.
Well, that's good. That's good.
So let's put it this way. I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I know they finished their loud task today. So it's going to be quiet.
You hope so.
Well, it will be in the afternoon. In the morning, we're going to be watching hearings along with everybody else. But after that, it's going to be, it's all going to be about staying focused on learning this new programming language, this new framework, this new platform.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's good
Delicious.
Yeah. So how about you, Alex? What is besides? Or not besides? What is it about the hairdressing that you're loving? That what were you not expecting to happen that is now happening, and where do you think it's going?
It's just that good old feeling of getting back into, people coming to you, not knowing exactly what they want, and then having you create their vision, whether you have background information or not, and making them feel better than they felt when they walked in the door.
There's a major creative piece to that.
Oh yeah, I'm very creative. Yes.
And it's an outlet for it. It's an outlet for your own expression in that way. So
yeah, it is.
In a sense, you're not imposing. You're imprinting your creativity on them.
Facts, actual factuals.
Are they liking it so far?
They're loving it.
Yeah.
So more family members are like, "Well, can I get mine done?"
So the word's getting out.
Come on in.
How about you, Daniel? Anything like that going on that you can point to? That this is what I'm loving doing, and
Daniel's whole life is like that.
Flow.
What do you mean?
Well, I figured that way it's an easy question because he can just whip something out like, okay, well, here's an example.
I mean, just being back here, I think, because the circumstance of getting back here was really funny. Because I was meant to go through the States, and then I realized that there was, you can't have two visa types at the same time. So that was interesting. But the way that it just sort of unfolded to happen the way it did, and even like this place has been better than I thought it was going to be. And then I set the intention for the perfect place for December. Then the landlord, I was only supposed to be here for a month. The landlord's like, hey, you're a good tenant. Do you want it for the year?
Nice.
Like,
You're right. Threaten me with a good time.
And just been really joyful having people here because I was being a nomad, as I have been for so long. I haven't actually had a place to call my own to really host people for a very, very long time. So being able to do that has been really nice. My friend was down from LA this weekend, and he was here with his business partner and his lawyer, and we, were smoking cigars on my rooftop and talking about the facts of life, and just felt like it, fired on the grill and put some steaks on and so on. It's been lovely. It's been lovely. So going back to being a social creature has been like inwardly social, as in welcoming people into my space. It's been really, 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 really groovy.
I think that's the ultimate form of law of attraction work right there. Just drawing people into your life. I think for myself, that's where I've had the most satisfaction. That's where I've experienced the most success. That's where I just find that, when I'm focusing on that, I'm living. That's
I agree.
when life is just, taking off. It's great. I'm reminded of our visit when we got to meet this past summer. We came to the Cape with you, went out to lunch. I mean, that was an example of it. And it was just great. I mean, it's not like I didn't know who you were. I knew who you were. You knew who I was.
Yeah.
But now we're in the same space, and we're sitting across the table, and we're chatting about whatever it was that we're chatting about. It was great.
It was good times, man. Good times.
Plus, we had good fish, really good fish.
Facts.
The Cape is known for its fish.
Actual factual.
I was left out of that one as well. Just talking about all the fun.
We didn't know you then.
All the great fish.
Well, you have great fish over there, I assume, being right by the beach.
Oh, yeah. I have some amazing fish here.
Exactly.
Really good fish.
And by the way, the only reason you weren't at the Cape is that we just didn't know you yet.
Right.
But you've attracted.
But you know me now. But you've been making a lot of plans without me. I've been here. It's recorded.
I'm going to Florida with my wife to visit my brother. Is that what you had in mind?
That as well.
What part of Florida? Because I might join you. My brother's in Miami.
Oh, near Cape Canaveral.
I don't know where that is.
Near Orlando. How about that?
Okay, I do have people close to Orlando. We'll see. I'll see if I can pick, because January in Massachusetts sucks. So if I can get out, that'd be great.
Anywhere, unless you're a skier, anywhere in New England sucks at that time of year.
Facts. Oh,
if it's cold enough, even the skiing isn't all that good.
No. Or when it's like a mixture of like kind of warm, but then like it's trying to snow and then it's all slushy outside. Oh
yes. Yeah. The winter melt. Yeah. Yes.
I don't do that no more. I don't do cold weather. I've been chasing the sun all this time. So my couple of forays.
So I think our company retreat should be at Daniel's house. That's what I'm saying.
Well, You're more than welcome. I have space.
That's what I'm manifesting this week. What about you?
I have space.
I think you should join me.
You're more than welcome.
See? All right. So that's two of us.
Wait. Did you just say, I don't know about you, but I think you should join me?
Yeah.
You actually just said.
Yeah, no, I was talking about in manifesting the company retreat. That's what I was saying.
It sounded like you were saying it. Are you coming, Daniel? Because I'm going to be there.
We're all going to be there. I'm calling everybody. Cindy Chavez, I'm calling everybody. It's going to be fantastic. We're all going to Cabo. I don't know when, but we're going.
Then it is done.
Facts.
One of the skills of being a host is knowing when to keep your mouth shut. That was one of them.
Well, I heard Walt's treating now that he's out of debt. That's what I heard.
It's like, yay!
Right?
Let's just say that Mexico is now on the list of places that I want to go to. Let's put it that way.
Well, you have a place to stay here, my good man.
All right. That sounds great. I love that.
Walt's going to be
Cost
like,
of entry is one
you get a hotel room. You get a hotel room.
Everybody get a hotel room. Except for me. I am in my house.
I'm just waiting for my emails.
Fabulous.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. Well, believe it or not, we actually pretty much did an hour doing all that. I'm kind of blown away. I'm not quite sure what the topic was, because we had one topic that was all about, what I guess that was the topic mostly, what it is that, is going well that we like to focus our attention on.
The topic should be, what was the topic?
Yeah, really. Fill in the blank. That's the topic.
Yeah, exactly.
It was pretty wide-ranging. But before we do our parting lines and part company, I want to make sure I remind people that this is a crazy show. And you want to be a part of it. You want to be actually tuning in all 5 days a week now we're doing these shows, because every single one of them is so completely different. That's what happens when you have so many great co-hosts doing the show with you. It makes me look really good, I can tell you that. But, you definitely want to make sure you're a part of it, and it's all about being a subscriber so that all the episodes are coming right to your smartphone. So if you're not yet a subscriber, please go to the homepage of our website, loatoday.net, and right at the top of the page, you will see how to do it just as easily as Dan subscribed to the Grass is Greener podcast. It's the exact same method. So, I mean, it's like a click or two, and you're done. And once you're done, of course, also check us out on YouTube, and that's where you get to see Alex laughing while I'm doing the promo.
Yep. I'm laughing at Dan, actually. He's making all kinds of gestures. I'm like, I can't take him into a life.
That was a really disconcerting way to describe what I was doing. All kinds of gestures. I was doing like welcoming hands.
I'm going to need you to come up out
dust.
the gutter.
Anyway, well, we won't disturb you anymore, especially with
I'm sorry, Walt.
stuff that's right but wrong at the same time.
Well, it's easy. I'm just going to dish it off to Alex because she always does our YouTube promo. So how do you do the subscription to YouTube, Alex, if you can stop?
Well, if you're not already here, and if you are here, then here's what you do. You go to LOA Today podcast videos. You look for our smiling faces and the unicorn headphones. Go down below, hit the red subscribe button. Go to the other side and hit the silver bell. And when you hit the silver bell, make sure you click all so you will always be notified when you're live.
Just that simple. Yep. I feel like she's my Vanna White. You know, she over here we have
who's now hosting.
She's hosting. That's right.
She's hosting. Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that was. Is he going to be okay? I haven't heard what the result was.
I heard he's okay. He's just in recovery.
Yeah. Okay. And did you guys hear about what happened on Jeopardy with Alex Trebek?
No.
Because Alex has been dealing with cancer and has been dealing with all the treatments associated with that. Mm-hmm. Just the other day, apparently one of the contestants on Final Jeopardy was kind of far behind in the game and knew he could kind of reason out what the answer was, but instead he decided to say as his answer, "We love you, Alex."
Aww.
And Alex read it and got all choked up. He could hardly go on. He was so... Yeah. So...
That's cute.
And I love the way he described it, too, because what he said was he wanted to express what everybody felt about Alex Trebek. And anybody who knows the Jeopardy television program knows what a wonderful human being he is. So literally, that's true. There are millions of people pulling for Alex to, basically survive and thrive.
Yeah.
I wish we had more time. I'm going to kind of put us over a minute or two. I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think... Well, how do I want to say that? We know, as law of attraction practitioners, that we can heal ourselves of anything. Alex doesn't necessarily know that because he doesn't necessarily know the stuff that we know about. But even without that, talk about, if you can for a moment, what do you think it's going to take in order for us to help him heal in ways that he doesn't even know that he's healing?
Dan's like, okay. I'm going to say we continue with the We Love Alex and trying to keep his spirits up and trying to keep him laughing because laughter is the best medicine.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I'll also go the Neville Goddard route and point out that if we imagine him being happy and healthy and doing the show for as long as he wants to do the show and living his life the way he wants to, we are helping him. Mm-hmm. The more that we keep him in that mind space and stop thinking about him as being a diseased person, the better off he's going to be because everything has vibration. Mm-hmm. Everything. Every thought has vibration. Every feeling has vibration. And when we're focusing on what we really want for him and what we're presuming he wants for himself, then it's reaching him. It's getting there to him. And every single time that he's in a space of being able to receive that, it's coming through and helping him. Because we do know, there's a lot of evidence to show that we can reinforce each other's thoughts. We can help support each other's thoughts and our feelings and our imagery and our imaginations. We can support all that. Mm-hmm. And because of that fact, well, we can help him. Now, it's going to be up to him to receive that. It's going to be up to him to stay true to what he really desires for his life. in order to really put it to best effort. But yeah, I really believe we can help them that way. So that's my reply. Do you have anything you want to add, Daniel, before we conclude?
So much to this. Let's truncate it. First and foremost, we can only witness what's a reflection of where we're at in terms of our frequency, because we can only experience what we're vibrational match to. If we are witnessing him as being unwell, we're connecting to that quantum potential where he is unwell, because that's what we relate to.
Right.
Now, as you know, with timeline jumping, you can jump timelines to a quantum reality where he is well, which is one thing you can do. But most importantly, and this is what I even do with a lot of my work, it's understanding that the change comes from the inside out.
Yes.
When approached on this topic, don't seek to see the person healed. I seek to change my frequency to match an experience where the person is whole.
Okay.
And the way to do that is love. We love you, Alex. But yeah, it's our frequency at the moment is one wherein there is a person who's unwell called Alex. That's what our frequency is. Now, our frequency then aligns us with that quantum potential. However, if we change our frequency, then that potential can no longer exist anymore. When that happens in groups and you've got, enforced energy creating that shift, that new collective agreement can create instant healing. As you both know, I don't know if you know Alex, I'm a student, Dr. Joe Dispenza. That happens a lot. People blind can see, hearing comes back, people come in wheelchairs and leave on their feet. Very miraculous stuff. And other miracles and stuff that happen. But it happens because collectively a new agreement is made wherein people inform each other's thoughts and create a coherent field that allows for that shift of timeline almost to an experience where the person's whole. Because moment to moment, we're always bouncing through timelines. It just so happens that generally speaking, we unconsciously or without conscious awareness of how to create something differently, pull the experience that we just come from, but it doesn't have to be that way. And instant manifestations, really, it's not that it's so much an instant manifestation, it's that we've chosen in that moment to connect to a different possibility than the one that we've come from, and therefore experience something else miraculously and new. Those are my thoughts.
Okay.
Very good. Excellent. So that's a good way to leave it. In fact, I'm thinking that becomes maybe a topic for next week, talking about health and how we can use our minds and our knowledge about how the law of attraction works and so forth to bring ourselves better health and thereby also help other people with their health. So make a note, Alex.
Okay.
That's our topic for next week.
Way ahead of you.
All right, sounds good. So thank you guys. Thank you, live streamers. Thank you especially to our podcast listeners as well. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Bye, everybody.
I love it.